GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Boliga, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the G&T Show, episode 277. I'm Terry Lynn, and across the table is the man and the mystery, Gettysburg 7.
Is this 277? I thought it was 278.
That's what they told me.
Oh.
277, yes.
I swear to God, you guys are just moving numbers around every week.
It's usually the last digit that we move around. We change that, and on the occasion it's the last two digits. It increases by one.
Oh, you know what? Nick's being nice to you, Steve, but I don't have to be.
You know, and Steve, I was just going to say such nice things. Steve helped me out yesterday, and he was really wonderful. But no, you know, I'm not going to say anything. Joel Untrue, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? And of course, there he is in the Glass Enclosed Nerve Center, Ceridium.
Kapla! Hi, all.
And
You do it. You do it.
No, Steve. I'm just shocked at your sudden turn. It's you know what it is? It's like I'm in the middle of the ring. I fended off all the bad guys, and then, you know, Steve came out of the dressing room, and then he hit me in the back of the head with a chair out of nowhere.
The middle cannot hold. I mean, this whole being nice to Steve, something had to give, and it wasn't you.
I know, right? I'm the strong
It was just a way to sort of make you feel more
you're
awake
not
after
digging your
feeling
way out of
ill.
this one. You're not digging your way out of
Good
this one.
morning, everyone. All right, coffee clutch time. It's been a while. I missed you guys. I missed you.
We missed you as well.
I just have to ask, I'm going to ask a big favor. For those of you in the group who may have seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, please don't tell us about it because we're going to wait till next weekend to go see it.
Oh, I already saw it.
Me too.
I bet you did.
Yeah,
It looks
Groot.
so much fun.
It is. And
Okay.
there are 4 post-credit scenes.
Holy crap.
Oh, wow.
Wait until everything's finished
Yes.
before you leave. Which you should do at any Marvel film.
Well, that is true.
And
That is true.
probably won't get the final post-credit scene, like the final one, unless you're like a real Marvel geek. But I was just laughing my ass off.
Cool.
Can you imagine Nick laughing giddily?
Actually, yes, I
I
can.
was
I've seen it
laughing
happen.
gaily.
Right on.
I have seen it happen. It's awesome.
I was gaily laughing.
So what else did you do this week, Nick?
I have been watching at least 1 to 2 documentaries every night.
Yeah, I saw you posting about that.
Yeah. I've just been on a real kick lately and just totally loving it. It's
Very
been
cool.
a
What
rough week.
are you
My
watching? A
wife,
particular channel?
yes, the channel of Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. Seriously, that's how it, because like I forget what I had watched on Amazon Prime, but you know they say customers have also watched, and it just leads you. It's kind of like that YouTube rabbit hole where you know you start off looking at the trailer for Wonder Woman, and 4 hours later you realize, you know, you're watching how to repair sneakers in Spanish.
Oh, and you know how to, and somewhere along the line you picked up the knowledge on how to create a thermonuclear device.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, well, that sounds like fun. What's been your favorite one so far?
I watched a really good one about the New York City blackout of '77.
You know, it's funny is that, you know, how you were like a baby at that time, right?
No, I was 8. I remember it.
Were you? I was in
No, that was
7th
huge
grade. I was
news.
in
Don't-
7th grade. So,
I was a year old. I was the baby.
Okay. I don't remember much about it because, being in 7th grade, I could totally care less. My mind was on
And see, it
something.
was huge news up where I
Oh, I'm
lived.
sure it was huge news, but again, I was in 7th grade and could totally care less, all
I
right?
remember my grandmother, because I used to spend the summer with my grandparents in Philadelphia. My grandmother being very upset about, you know, what what's happening to the world.
We all reach an age, I think, when we all feel the same way.
I'm trying to think. I watched an amazing documentary about wooden shoes. No, it's not true. I did watch a pretty amazing one about a filmmaker pretty much showing what it's like to try and get a film into the independent film circuit, into the festivals.
Yeah.
And they talked about what Sundance started as and what Sundance is now, and
Like Tribeca, same thing.
how these independent films are actually made by studios that get into like Sundance and stuff because it's become so corporate.
Right.
But he gets his film into the uh, the uh, the Phoenix Film Festival, and he gets it into one in Chicago. And the one in Chicago is a fucking disaster. The projectors don't work. There's nobody doing the tickets. The guy who's running the festival specifically leaves instructions that no one is to get his phone number. I mean, it's just insane. And then the Phoenix Film Festival, it was like amazing. It started out a couple of years earlier with 3,000 people coming, and in 3 years they had grown to like 20,000 people coming. So they're very excited about it. It was a really really good film. I wish I could remember the name. Um, but yeah, and it's funny because Chris Gore, who I follow on Twitter, who
Yeah.
we've met at this STLV,
Really great guy. And
he
the head of Film Threat.
yeah, he was in that. And then I was watching a documentary called Doomed. It was about the making of Roger Corman's The Fantastic Four movie, the movie that was made in order to never be released. And Chris Gore was in that. And that was a really fascinating movie.
Interesting. Really interesting. How fun. Um, Mikey, I kind of
Yes.
know what you did this week because by the
Yes.
way, Michael is still in the New Mexico studios. He's just in a
My
safe
visit
set
has
B.
been
The
extended.
adoption paperwork is almost
I
going
tell
through.
you, it's getting close. It's getting close. But why don't you tell everybody else? You were you're awesome.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I've been playing with the dogs, taking care of the dogs, and building Terry a new computer that made Mario just wet himself.
It's once the new motherboard comes in and everything works, it's gonna be fucking psycho. It's so crazy. I'm excited.
You're gonna be doing VR in like 4K, and then some. It's gonna be awesome.
Pretty much. I know I'll be VR ready, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm excited about that. But well, um, but it's been nice. It's been really, really nice to have Mike at the house. One, just to be around him because he's so sweet. Because he's so sweet.
I try to be
Um,
helpful.
and it is, and you're extremely helpful. And it's just been really nice not to have to worry about taking a break at lunch and letting the dogs out because they've been so happy you're here. Seriously, it's just,
Although I think I traumatized Casey.
I don't think you did. I think the wind did. I
Yeah,
do. I think that it was the door slamming thing.
yeah. I
He
had
won't,
I had opened up the door so I can go outside and smoke, and the dogs can come and go. But it was like when we had that big wind storm, right? So the door kind of slammed, and he kind of like freaked out, and now he won't go outside
He
Well,
won't go out. He won't go
out
out
the
front
front
with
door.
Mike.
Yeah.
You broke the dog.
I
He
broke the
did break the
dog.
dog. Oh well. Steve, what'd you do this week?
Nobody cares. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, as well as working, actually started getting back into lots of podcasting this week. So,
I
been
will say thank you to Steve. Yesterday we did 2 episodes that'll be coming out soon of the Gettysburg Address. Very different episodes. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
2 episodes of Gettysburg Address.
I'm
Ooh, I'm
so
excited.
excited.
One with Scott Ostrowski from the O Sports Show.
Hi,
How
Scott.
did that go?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
I had
He's
no
such a
idea
great
what
guy,
they
isn't
said
he?
at all.
Yeah, poor Steve. Afterwards, I said to him, I said, "You have no idea, do you?" But I said at the beginning of it that we weren't going to be talking like batting statistics. We talked about much more societal things and like what being a fan is like, and we we talked a lot about the poor Cleveland fans and how Cleveland just suffers.
Yeah, it's true. But it's their year. It's their year. The Cubs had theirs. Now Cleveland can have theirs, as long
I'm
as the Giants beat them. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm glad to see that you guys were finally able to make that episode happen, because watching you guys on Facebook trying to connect was painful.
Oh well, it was so funny because there was the day that I was there and he didn't show up. I use air quotes there, and then 2 hours later he's like, "I'm here," and I'm like, wait a minute. What time zone are you in?" And he was like, "I'm in New Mexico." I was like, "I thought you were on the East Coast."
Oh no!
So we were both laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
he's a
watching the two of them trying to connect was, like I said, it was painful because one would be available, the other one wouldn't. The other would be available. It was just back and forth. It was crazy.
well.
But I'm
Scott.
glad that it worked out.
Scott is a great, great man, and just I love hanging around him. His kid is adorable, like ridiculously cute, and the I'm just glad that you guys were able to connect. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Who else did you have?
Rebecca Johnson. Steve set this one up. Rebecca Johnson from the Supergirl podcast.
Radio.
Go ahead, Steve.
Supergirl Radio podcast.
Yeah, Supergirl Radio. And we debated Man of Steel and
fun.
Batman versus Superman.
How fun!
Interesting.
Just right up your alley.
And I'll just say this. It was very good. Steve, I was very nice, right? I was good, right? But when
And
you're
he has said that he's going to watch Batman vs Superman, the extended version.
Well, let me just say this. When your defense of a movie comes down to you have to watch the extended version that was released because everything is in there that they didn't put in the theater, that still doesn't defend the movie that was in the theater.
I have to admit, I get frustrated by that as well. The idea that the director wasn't able to put in what the director wanted is so frustrating. And I'm sorry if an extended cut's coming out. I'm getting to the point now where it's like, why go see anything in the theater? I'll just wait for what the director intended.
Yeah. Now, sometimes it's the director fights to get the stuff onto the screen and loses. Look at James Cameron with Aliens. That was like his second movie, and that was 1986. And in 1990, they were able to put together, his definitive version of it with the 20 minutes of footage that didn't make it into the theater, and that is a superior version of an already great movie. But I have a problem when like Warner Brothers does this to Batman versus Superman because they know it's going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah.
They know it's going to be huge, at least for the first weekend.
See, my favorite, it sounds crazy, but I know that, so the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? The Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy. The director's extended cut editions, each movie is 4 hours long with the extended cut. And I can understand not being able to do that in a theater. It would be ridiculous. But I can tell you right now, they're far superior than the ones that were in the theater. I love the 4-hour versions. They're so good.
4 hours.
Oh my God, they're amazing. Oh,
They are really good.
They're so
Well,
good.
I mean, how else are they supposed to pad DVD and Blu-ray sales later on?
That's true too.
Yeah,
Well,
I was talking with someone about that, and
I know.
that is an interesting thing, and sometimes I don't know. It's just become kind of annoying that now they're making. I don't want to say the directors because a lot of times it's not them, but studios are looking at their films as they're being made with the thought also of, okay, what can we put on as extras when we release it
Right.
onto Blu-ray?
Right.
When no,
And what can we
please,
sell as a special extra for Target or Walmart
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, Amazon?
Yeah, everyone wants their exclusive whatever, and in the
Rawr.
end, no one ends up really winning except
The studios
maybe
and the
maybe the
shareholders.
studio. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's time for us to move on. And I want to start off with this, which Dayton Ward just tweeted.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the presses. As the saying goes, this is from Dayton's tweet and Facebook page. It's an honor to be nominated, and in this case, it's absolutely true. Not once, but twice. My fellow nominees and the people tasked with judging submissions and arriving at a list of finalists include talented writers whose work I've admired for years. The list also includes several colleagues I'm proud to call friends. I'm genuinely thrilled to be in this kind of company. Dayton, congratulations on being nominated for Best General Original Fiction for 24 Trial by Fire, as well as Best Speculative Fiction for Star Trek Elusive Salvation. That's the
Wow.
Scribe Awards this year will be announced at this year's San Diego Comic-Con.
Congratulations and good luck.
I'm very excited. And also, did you guys see what all of the Star Trek writers did this weekend?
Yes, so jealous.
Seriously, I'm so jealous. Nick, did you see?
I did, and I really did not need to see photos of Michael Jan Friedman without his clothes on. I like the man. I just what?
It was
Yeah,
not
no, it was
Michael
very
Jan
cool.
Friedman. He's so awesome. The pretty much what did we say? We named them the away team. An away team of Star Trek writers went off to the official Star Trek original series set tour in Ticonderoga, New York, and toured the facility, got together, got to hang out. It was kind of like a mini convention of writers, and the only attendees were the writers, which, I wish I could have gone.
Good thing there was no drinking there.
Oh, yeah, right. You just, that somebody was following him behind with like a little red wagon full of vodka and bourbon.
Now, see, that's a video that needed to be taken. Was just following them around. That's a documentary I would have made.
From the point of view of the alcohol trolley.
Of the police that were waiting to arrest them one by one.
I just
And
saw the pictures and I thought, oh my God. When I saw that Dayton was kind of flying through, I guess, Baltimore because he was bitching about the flight, and I thought, where the hell is he going? And then when I saw the picture of the front of the set tour, I was like, God damn it. How fun. I thought he was just going on his own. But when I saw the picture of all of them on the bridge of the Toss Bridge, I was like, oh damn. I was like, oh look, there's Dayton Ward, there's Kevin Dillmore and David Mack and Michael Jan Freeman and Dave Galanter. It was just looked really, really fun.
Right on.
And we all know that Kirsten couldn't be there because,
She's working.
she's working.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do we got next, Mike? Up to you.
Let's see. Okay. Free Comic Book Day. That was yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh man, I missed it.
Well, hon, we don't have a
yeah.
fucking comic book store.
That is true, but yeah, Star Trek TNG Mirror Broken. I guess it's the first of a new series coming out that looks at TNG from the Mirror Universe perspective. So that was one of the books that was given away yesterday. So there's in the show notes there's going to be there's going to be an interview or two with the writers, a review of the book, and yeah, so check that out. The artwork is phenomenal, but you know J.K. Woodward always does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
So,
and I love the Mirror Universe stuff that he was starting to do. Hey James, we miss you. What else? See, I don't have the links, so they're on my phone.
While you're doing that, I want to throw a shout out to Sandy Clark Watson. You know, she's one of our biggest fans.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Sweet, sweet lady.
Seriously,
oh my God,
sorry,
our
guys.
comic book store was so packed yesterday because
Oh,
it was
that's awesome.
It was pouring out, and I couldn't stay in there longer than a few minutes because it was and it was just like my anxiety was going through the roof.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but it was cool because I picked up my pull list. The new Hawkeye is out. Kelly Thompson. Give a listen to her, to the interview I did with her on the Gettysburg Address.
Okay.
Yay.
I suppose we could talk Discovery.
Let's do it.
Well, writers' strike averted, which is good news.
No shit. Now, did that happen when I was still on the cruise? That was like on Friday of last week, right?
It was the day the strike was supposed to start, right, Mike?
Right.
It was like cutting it close to the wire.
Yeah.
And they came to some sort of agreement, although I have no idea what those terms were. But I did see a couple of posts from like Michael Okuda and a couple of other people going, "Woohoo! We get to keep working, so that or the writers get to keep working." I think that's great.
That is awesome. Which means that they can now set another potential release date for Discovery, and all signs are pointing to fall. So
now, do you have the link for that picture that Jonathan Frakes posted? We don't know if this.
I do not.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes tweeted last week, and all he tweeted was a picture of himself on a set. We do not know if it's an old set or a new set.
It's the picture is of a window with him on the outside of the window, and there's a starscape behind him. So it does kind of make you think that it is some space type of show.
Yeah. So we don't know if he happened to have been on set at Discovery or if it was just like he was tooling through an old set somewhere else. I don't know. But if he was in Toronto on set, gee, he was either visiting or
Directing.
Oh God, I would hope. Wouldn't that be awesome? That would be really awesome. But that's total speculation because we have no idea where he was. All he did is he tweeted the picture and he said, "Guess where I am."
I thought it was really interesting when Shia LaBeouf tweeted that he was going to be on the series. So I think that's a really good. What?
Did he really?
No.
Yeah, no.
That insane genius.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe him.
So Discovery's getting new cast members or new. New cast
why don't we talk a little bit about that one, Mike?
So it's Shazad Latif, Rekha Sharma, Kenneth Mitchell, Claire McDonald, and Damon Runyon.
But we don't know what roles they will be playing.
2 of them will be playing Klingons, High Council members. And I believe one of them actually did a swap. I think it was Mitchell who did a swap with he was someone who was playing a Klingon is now playing a Starfleet officer, and I believe Mitchell is taking his spot as the Klingon. Last week I thought that was kind of odd that they would do that, but then again, this is
Is he breaking up for anybody else?
oh,
No,
am I?
not here.
Okay. Well, I just thought that that it was interesting that they would swap characters out like that, roles like that. But then again, with Discovery, some of the rumors, that it's supposed to be a kind of like have a political aspect to it. That it's going to feature obviously the Klingons fairly heavily, and there's the potential for spy works. So it's possible that 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 the individual who started off as a Klingon and is now a Starfleet officer, he could have been a Federation spy or any number of things. I mean, again, it's just speculation at this point because there's really no concrete information that's being released, but it's still interesting.
That it is. Now, okay, good. Sorry, you guys. He was breaking up really, really poorly for me. I couldn't hear half of what he said. But that just goes to show you how how old my computer is. It's just I can't do more than one thing, so I'd rather see the chat room. So I'm gonna make Mike carry a lot of the weight today. Nick, have you heard any Damon Runyon? Doesn't that name sound familiar?
Damon Runyon.
Kind of driving me crazy. I was trying to look him up, but that's when my computer started to kind of go, no, I can't do more than one tab at a time.
Snowman Frost asks or says, "Have you seen Claire McConnell? She has so Klingon-y hair. She can't be this new freaky bald Klingon."
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yes.
You were talking about somebody who was interviewed about having way with the Klingon language?
Yeah, that was Claire McConnell. She is going to be portraying a Klingon. I believe she is slated to be a female High Council member, which is a unique take since in previous episodes of Trek, the Klingons kind of frowned upon or didn't really like having females on the council chambers. So that's kind of an interesting take. But in the article or in the interview that I'd seen with her, she had said that the producers had given her, had encouraged her to take, to make the role hers, to come up with her own version of what it meant to be Klingon, and also gave her permission to do the same with the Klingon language. So I don't know, that one makes me nervous. I think there's going to be a lot of angry Klingons if that one is kind of true.
Terry,
But
Michael
we'll see.
Runyon's from Supernatural.
Thank you. Michael Runyon. No, this is Damon Runyon.
I'm sorry, Damon Runyon.
Okay.
Damon Runyon.
What
cool.
was did he play on Supernatural? I can't place the name with the actor or with the role.
I just saw it said next to his name in parentheses Supernatural.
I think for most of the
I've-
shows he's been in 1 or 2 shows like Smallville, Supernatural, I think Haven, he's been in sort of those for like 1 or 2 episodes. Has not been a main character, I don't think.
And Rekha Sharma, if people don't recognize her name, if you watched Battlestar Galactica, she was Tori,
Yeah.
one of the final 5.
And if you hadn't watched it, spoiler.
Yeah, it's, you know what, 10 years. It's been 10 years.
God, can you believe that in years?
I think it's been at least 10, 2005, because I was in Iraq when it premiered.
Snow and
So-
Frost, just because we saw a group photo of a bunch of Klingons on break being bald doesn't mean that all Klingons are bald. She may actually have hair. There may be people on the High Council with hair. We just may have seen that one picture with them without their hair, or maybe because they're serving on a particular ship, they're bald. We don't know, but either way, I'm excited. I want to see what they do with these Klingons. So let's, yeah.
I
Sorry.
know. And not the least of which is actors are usually cast for their acting talent and not because of a specific physical attribute.
Like, look at Persis Kambata. She had the most beautiful hair ever when she was cast as Ilea,
And she
was
shaved.
Cast, yeah, she was
No
cast
bald cap
because
for
of
her.
God, she was. I adored her.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just as excited to see what's going to happen with the Klingons, but it's nice to see the casting. It's nice to see that, I think a lot of these news bits that we're getting are going to be for characters who may make a single episode appearance maybe now is what we're seeing. Or maybe 1 or 2 episodes. They're not going to be like lead characters or main ensemble characters. They're going to be side characters.
I think a lot of these characters are side characters, but I don't know if they'll be limited to 1 or 2 episodes. From some of the rumors that I've been seeing regarding potential story for Discovery is that there's a lot, like I said earlier, a lot of Klingon political tension with the Klingons, and the fact that there's 2 High Council members and a possible and Chris Obi as the king of Klingons, so that kind of makes me wonder that we're probably gonna be seeing a lot of these characters pop up a little bit more often, either in small bits and pieces, but I think we're gonna be seeing them quite
I hope
a
that
bit more.
I hope they cast Reverend Run and Daryl McDonald as the King of Rock.
And
For those that don't get that, that was a Run DMC reference.
Snowman Frost, you bother with wigs because you can control wigs. And when it comes to film, you need to be able to control literally every single hair. So that's why.
Wigs are very important on porn shoots.
And also, if it gives you an understanding as to why hairstyling is so fucking important and deserves its own Oscar, that's why. Because you have to control every fucking hair.
Sometimes hair can be a problem. Jason Momoa in Stargate Atlantis wanted to cut his hair for years because it weighed so much. In the end, he got it cut, but they had to use it to make a wig because he basically damaged his neck. So they had to reduce the weight on it. So he only wore it as a wig for the later part of the series.
Wow, did not know that.
I did not know that. Steve coming up with the clutch factoid.
His hair damaged his neck?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
heavy
the
hair,
weight
dude.
of his hair, he had
Well, that's
huge...
just stupid then.
I know.
Don't get me started.
But it was part of the character, so they didn't want him to get rid of it. So he cut his hair, but he had to wear it as a wig.
Part of his, if something is damaging your health, then they can fucking CGI it.
Yeah, it's Snowman Frosty goes, you can control natural hair as well as wigs. But guess what? You only have to color a wig once.
Good
That
point.
is true.
So, yeah. And since men typically don't color their hair, they don't have experience with that. But women have to color their hair every 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how fast it grows.
I color my short
So
hairs.
it damages your scalp. I'm just saying. It's easier to control a wig than it is natural hair. So deal with it, okay?
I want to talk about a few interesting products that
Yay.
have made the rounds this past week or two, and I'm going to focus on items that are collectors really dig into. For instance, stamps and coins. Um, did you see the Canada that they're releasing 7 new stamps, one of each captain, or I think it's not set. I think it's 7, but the captains are the main ones, and then I think there might be 2 others that they have not revealed. But the each stamp shows the captain, the ship, and their main adversary for the series. So I thought they look extraordinary.
Is Kirk's main adversary a computer?
It's Khan actually, and it's Rathacon Kirk. And then Picard was Locutus.
I think it should have been Landru.
Janeway had the Borg Queen. Oh, there's the picture. Cisco had Ducat, and Archer had the Zindi Reptilian.
Oh, and there's the other 2. It's the shuttlecraft and the Borg cube.
Okay. So yeah, those are pretty cool. So lucky Canadians. And apparently, speaking of Canadians, there's also some new coins coming out from them as well. I'm juggling my mic, the push the talk button, and trying to access links.
Sorry, I'm hold on. I'm fixing something.
Okay, so there's the link in the chat room.
Anybody else picture the New Mexico studio being like, the Defiant under attack, and they're
Well,
just
it kind of is right
sparks
now.
flying everywhere, and they're reaching around trying to fix things.
It is kind of that way. My problem is I'm trying to actually reply to Bill over at Trek Geeks. Sorry, in the middle of our podcast, he fucking tweets, and I'm like, God damn it, I need to answer this tweet, but I'm live. Screw you. Hi. So, oh my God.
What did he tweet?
They're doing a full-on Riker episode. And they didn't invite me. Do they not know? Do they not understand?
Oh God.
They don't understand.
We'll have to do our own Riker episode.
Oh shit. Okay.
Okay, so for the first coin. Well, it's not a coin. It's the Royal Canadian Mint has released their latest Star Trek coins. There's 2 new coins, one featuring the 5 Trek captains, the other the Borg pay tribute to Trek's status as a pop culture phenomenon, its enduring impact, and also its legions of devoted Canadian fans. And each one comes with its like this case and with their own unique case. And I have to say, these are pretty snazzy. The Borg case looks like a Borg cube. I mean, it's awesome.
Hey, speaking of the Borg, Mike, talk about that license plate.
Oh,
that's what we no
frisky
kidding.
Canadians again.
Yeah, the Canadians. Gotta love them.
the license plate in question said assimilate, so the number 8, but apparently it's caused quite a bit of hoopla with
Well, he also had a license plate holder that said
s- s-
"Resistance is futile." Um,
yeah, it was
you
you
know, the
could tell.
Borg's.
We
You
are the
could,
Borg or something like that.
yeah, the context is definitely Star Trek. That's definitely the context he was going for. But because of the native population, um, I guess it offended them.
No, yeah,
The
assimilate offended them.
assimilate offended them because they're trying to maintain their culture. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think I think they didn't pay attention to the context, and the context had nothing to do with
Oh,
um, with that
yeah.
particular issue. I think, but
And Michael
The
Garcia says assimilation is a bad word in Canada. It's disrespectful to First Nations. See, this is the problem you get into when other people start telling you what the words you're using mean and don't give it the context or don't bother to try and find out when they just tell you, oh, that word is bad. You can't use that word. This is the problem. A Star Trek reference is now deemed wrong somehow. And that's just crazy.
For as sensitive as I am about First Nations issues, as well as the fact that I am very, very well aware that the word assimilate, specifically in Canada, just so everybody knows, uh, it- there was an assimilation campaign against First Nations in Canada. Now, while we had the same campaign here in the United States, that term wasn't actually used as frequently as it was in Canada. In Canada, that assimilation program only ended, I think, in like the 1970s.
Oh, there it is.
So
Thank you,
it's
Matthew
it's a
Anderson.
it's a fresh thing. Yeah, it's a fresh thing. That as it may, I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. This is a license plate that somebody was kind of it, it was an absolute Star Trek reference. It wasn't meant to tell First Nations people that they need to assimilate into white culture. It was a fucking Borg reference. And I have to say, Canada, I'm really disappointed in you for this because I think it's pretty stupid.
Well, I love Canada, but it is a country where you can go to jail for using a word. And that's, I have serious problems with that. You're telling me the context of my own words. And that's just going way too far.
So I
Supreme
have
Leggett,
so kind of
Supreme
going on
Leggett
this.
says, "We don't have assimilate, we have get the fuck out."
Yeah. And if there's anybody who has the right to say get the fuck out, it's our First Nations and Native Americans. I'm just saying. Um it is so I have to I want to move forward in this discussion because it
Oh
is
my God, he
important.
says like all First Nations are going to know Star Trek. Oh my God, so now everybody has to understand every word. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, that's the thing is no. But the problem is if this person driving around with a license plate that says we are the Borg, assimilate it. If somebody is going to be, I don't know. I just how do you respond to that other than the fact that um it it's a word. It wasn't meant to tell First Nations people that they need to assimilate to white culture. It wasn't. And if they took it that way, then they didn't read the plate and they didn't ask the person and they don't know him. And that's the issue. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it's just a fucking word. And I need to, and that's why I want to open up this conversation even more. Going on to the idea that there are words that offend, absolutely. And we all know that those words can offend when they're meant and when you understand the context, correct?
Well, I'm about to lose my control because he said Trek is about Idic. No, I guess it's only good on TV. Hard to live in real life. Don't get started on that because I'll tell you what, Star Trek fans are proving to be the least interested in Idic. Inlet, don't even get me started.
Uh, all right. We'll talk about it at another date because I'm with you. That's a great conversation that we need to have again. We did several years ago, but it's time to probably jump on that board again. But be that as it, yeah, see, um, there's a lot to deal with when it comes to, are you being offensive or not? I don't think this guy meant to be offensive.
Grab her.
I know. See, right? And you were laughing at it, but I look at that and I say, okay, to me personally, I'm like, that's not nice.
It's his last name.
Okay, exactly. But I'm not going to throw shit at somebody whose last name is Grabber.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Exactly.
You
I
don't know
don't know.
it's his last name. You just oh boy.
No, see, here's the problem that I have, and maybe this is libertarian that I am. No single word, no word. Now, this is me personally,
Right.
is offensive. You choose to make it offensive to yourself. If
Well,
you choose not to make it offensive, it loses all its power.
okay. So here's the thing. I think Mike, you probably were as well, and I were all raised, and it kind of goes back to this whole political Star Trek in mind, but still, fuck it, we're going to talk about this. We were raised with the whole sticks and stones thing, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually really fucking believe in that. I really do. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me because I choose not to be hurt by them. I choose not to be hurt by them. But that goes for more than just words. It goes for a lot of other things as well. I have and here's the thing, I have to acknowledge, and I know you may disagree with me, Nick, but I will acknowledge my privilege in that as well. And that is I have to acknowledge the fact that I'm privileged enough that I have a power where not very many words are thrown at me to hurt me.
No, and I understand what you're saying, but Michael Garcia says, but he's not an African American. There's at least one word that he won't say that's a single word pretty offensive.
Yes.
Is it though? Because if you listen to all kinds of music and stuff, boy, that word is thrown around an awful lot.
But they've
So are they
chosen and
choosing only to
again,
be offended by it when it's said by
but that's
one
why I wanted
person,
to
but
talk
yet
about
not
this.
another? That's the choice to be offended.
Well, it's also and here's where it comes from. When I said you and I both agree. It depends on the context. It's a word that there are words that certain cultures have had to take ownership of.
Dago, Guinea, Wop.
Bitch.
Those are all,
I mean,
yeah.
seriously, there are words that we have all used over the course of our human existence to tear down, break down, differentiate, subjugate, oppress, at any given time, somebody else, because that's what humans are. We're fucking
I'm not
bullies.
laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at what Matthew Anderson posted.
Thank you. I was gonna say, holy shit, can I go over there?
Twigs and rocks may snap my cartilage, however, shackles and lashes delight me.
And so this is something that it's a human condition thing. We've always used our language to differentiate and take down. We always have. But we've also used those words as banners. We've taken ownership of them and say, you want to call me that? Guess what? Then that's what I am. You want to call me a fucking bitch? Okay, guess what? Bitches unite, right? I'll use the word, but it's for me, and I'm using it for I'll take ownership of it. Um, and it comes down to context. It comes down to what did you mean when you used it? What did you mean when you used it? And
So
that's why
can
it's
should
hard.
Canada
I hate
taking
censorship. I just do.
taking it to the next level, should Canada then not allow the Borg episodes to be aired because they repeatedly say you will be assimilated? Because if it's offensive enough to not allow on a license plate, it sure should be offensive enough, like the N word, to not be said on television.
Okay. And Mike, you're leaving right when I was going to say, you said words can incite, words can inflame, and words can inspire. And oddly enough, Michael, the same word can do all three. And that's why censorship is and censorship of speech, regardless of how offensive it may be, is wrong. Because that same word could be turned around and used as an inspiration for those people for whom it was used against to begin with.
Can you
And
imagine if a comedian in our country went to jail for using the word fuck on stage? Or
well, look at what
cocksucker?
Stephen Colbert's going through right now,
Hold
right?
on. Do you know that in our country people have gone in a comedy club after
Absolutely.
midnight?
Lenny Bruce.
Yep.
I mean, I can't believe we're kind of going through it again.
Oh, I can, Terry. You, I
Oh,
was just
I'm just being rhetorical. Of
No,
course
I
I
know,
know,
but
because
you know,
we're a sensitive fucking nation.
we're living in a culture now where a university president he's a university president. Boy, I'd have to look it up to find out what university, somewhere in Michigan. But he said that he's ashamed of what's happened because he actually had to argue with professors who um, threw a student out of the classroom for using one of the campaign slogans from the last election, but yet he had no problem with the other candidates' campaign slogans being used in the classroom. So now we've gotten to the point where it's getting like that.
I know. I know. I find it frustrating. I do not care what side of the fence that you sit on. The fact of the matter is you have a right to express your point of view and here's the thing, in a safe way. You don't have the right to go out and incite a riot. You just don't.
Supreme
Um,
Legate, a swastika is actually a Buddhist symbol that was appropriated by Nazi Germany.
Actually, it wasn't Buddhist, it was
Not,
Native
not,
American.
it's also in Asia.
Well, it's a symbol that runs through multiple cultures, right?
Yeah.
And it was totally, again, appropriated by somebody else to make it an offensive symbol. So now what do you do if you are of a culture that used that symbol in a much more peaceful way? To you, it means something completely different. Do they get censored? No, it's their fucking symbol.
Oh,
It
but I'm sure if
sucks,
you're on a
man.
college campus
Well, no,
and
I mean, what
that's
if it's
part of your culture, you're not going
right?
to be
Well,
allowed to have that.
what if it's
Yeah, Hindu.
banged into
That's right. It's
stone in
Hindu.
a fucking petroglyph, right?
Yeah.
It's on the side of the rock of the tribe that you live with. It's part of your culture. And some schmuck decided who killed 6 million Jews decides to use it as his symbol. Well, that's kind of fucked up, don't you think? They're twice as mad. He oh, don't even. But does that mean they should keep from using the symbol? No.
I think I'm going to form a hate group and use the Klingon language and the Klingon trefoil as my symbol. And then my plan to eradicate the Klingons will come to fruition.
So,
Oh my gosh.
it's just a history full of us trying to silence those who piss us off. It really is. And, you know, uh, it's just par for the course for our species. We do it all the time. But we need to be able to say, you know, enough is enough.
Some say all. It's true. I love it when Sunshine.
Yep,
Hi, by the way.
it's true.
Hi, son.
Exactly. He usurped the symbol for himself, and it became the symbol for something that it never was intended to be. And that's what happens when we just pick up and go, when we do that. We as a species do that. And we do it with words, we do it with um language and writing and film and
Iconography.
right, iconography, and it's iconography, I guess it would be. Is
Yeah,
that how you
iconography.
pronounce
I'm
it?
sorry.
Thank you. I'm
Look at
like,
Robert
what's
Reyes
the
says.
word?
Robert Reyes says, "Can we talk about wigs again, please?"
Yeah, sure.
We get complaints that we talk about vapid stuff, and then we get complaints when we talk about heavier stuff. I'm starting to hate our audience,
No, you're not.
with the
So
exception, of course, of Sandy Clark Watson.
Midnight Shadow had posted a comment from our Facebook Live. We are on Facebook Live. Hi everyone on over there on Facebook
Are we
Live.
really?
yeah.
How did I
Yes.
not know
Yeah.
about this?
Oh, they did it last week, and that's how I was talking
We
to you
did?
from the ship. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really need to not sleep through the meetings.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and YouTube and our audio channel.
So
Well,
we're live in
hello,
3 places.
everybody.
Nice. Yes.
Oh
Hello.
God, now I became Sophie from Two Broke Girls. Hi, everybody.
Do you actually? No, I won't even. We won't even go there. Sorry.
No, my
Mike?
wife
So
watches. My wife loves that show, and I will admit, Kat Dennings, I love. The other
Yeah.
character, I really want to shoot in the face with a bucket of hepatitis.
yeah, yeah.
Mike, what were you saying?
Well, Christopher Baca had posted. This is why we are going through this again. The society swings between two extremes, and right now we are in a we cycle, which at its extreme leads to witch hunts. This book goes into pendulum theory, and he posts a link to Amazon for a
Very
book
cool.
called Pendulum Generations.
Yeah.
I would love to read that book, because I was sitting here thinking today, I said, when you're raised in an era where the pendulum wasn't swinging that far, because we weren't, let's face it. We were raised in the 60s and 70s, post World War II, post Korea, and things in the US were pretty fucking mild. They really were. Things worked, right? It's like sometimes the Republicans would get something, sometimes the Democrats would. California, I was raised in a situation where it was always split. Your governor was always one party, but the lieutenant governor was always another.
Yeah.
And it was always kind of balanced. I never believed, because I'd never experienced a pendulum before, I never believed I would be experiencing another one. I always thought to myself,
Because you know
McCarthyism
why,
was something
Terry?
that was going to
You
be
never saw the
reforming.
rise of social media.
Right. Well, no, I think that plays a role, absolutely. But the passion and the feelings of what came through in the 50s are kind of raising their head again, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, and you could almost say that well, let's say from the turn of the century through the 50s, you had a different kind of bubble. You had the geographic bubble.
Right.
And because you still had basically all you had was newspaper and radio. And then you had a different kind of i- uh, integration, I'll say, of ideas when television came along in the late 50s, and I know it was earlier, but it came along in a more mass
Its
market
heyday
way
was
in
really in
the
the
late
50s, right?
50s through the 60s, and we had that throughout our time. And then you had the cable explosion, and then the social media, which allowed people to sort of go back into a bubble where, the great example is somebody posts something that you're friends with on Facebook. You don't agree with them, and they're like, well, this is my yard, if you don't like it, leave. Well, you put it on there, but yet you don't want anybody to have debate with you, and I'm not saying a fuck you, blah blah blah. I'm
Right, right,
saying,
right.
wait a minute, no, I happen to agree with this, and this is why. I think taxes are too high, and this is why. Well, this is my yard. Get out. And now
Yeah.
we're kind of retreating
And
back into
that's
the
both ways.
right. No,
It's
yeah,
everybody. It's everybody.
yeah.
And which is why I'm beginning to wonder how successful Star Trek Discovery is going to be, because Discovery is going to be coming around in a time and a place and political grief and uh and 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 upside downness. I mean, just kind of crazy, as the original series did
I was
in
just
the
gonna say that's
60s.
when Toss did it, so that
Yeah. So it has it. Hey, if there is a timing for a Trek, it's now. It's now. We need this Star Trek, and we need it to be poignant. And I'm not saying it needs to be liberal. I need it to discuss. It may be, it may need to be, let's talk about both sides. It may be that healing that we need.
one can only hope, and it's funny because I thought that, and yeah, I'm gonna say it here, the Captain America's Civil War kind of did that in a sneaky way with the Cap versus Tony debate about registration and a greater civil liberties thing, which I thought was,
Yeah.
and the comic did that years ago, but the movie obviously reached way more people. By the way, Terry, I got to tell you, my wife, God bless her, I love her so much. She surprised me with a ticket for myself, because she didn't have any interest in going, which is so cool that she ordered. So I went to my theater, and first of all, the three trailers were, the first was Wonder Woman, which bing would. The second was Thor Ragnarok, which I hadn't seen the trailer for. And
Oh,
did you see the trailer for it?
yes.
When Hulk comes out and Thor's like, "Yes, we're
Yes.
friends."
Yes.
I
I
laughed
laughed my
out
ass
loud.
off. I was like,
I
I
laughed out
work
loud.
with him. I know him from work or something like that,
Yeah,
right? Oh, I
and then
laughed my ass off.
the third was for the new Star Wars movie. So it was pretty good, three trailers there. But the thing I wanted to tell you was all showings for Thursday, or I mean for Friday and Saturday, all showings in all their theaters were sold out. No walk-ups at all.
Wow, that is saying something.
And lots of kids. Guardians of the Galaxy has really reached a lot of kids. I think Baby Groot was the reason.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I mean, it's just, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Facebook politics, the biggest pile of horseshit on the planet.
Terry says that. Hold on. She's got to
Baby
post
Groot.
3 or 4 things now.
Baby Groot is, yeah, he is Littlewood.
Well, it's funny because one of the post-credit scenes is now teenage Groot, and it is hilarious.
Oh, no.
Am I right, Steve?
It's so funny.
Oh my God. I can't even
Right on.
imagine Rocket with a
Let's just say
teenage Groot. With a
Star-Lord.
teenager, it's going to be hilarious.
Star-Lord in the parent mode.
Oh, no. Um, I am.
And
I
Zoe
think it's,
Saldana, Star Trek alum, she's so good in this movie. Really good. Really good. Her and
well, she's an
her
amazing
and
actress anyway.
right. But her and Karen Gillian have some really good scenes together.
Cool. It's nice to be able to talk to you guys. It's such a refreshing thing to be able to kind of sit down and just yak about things that we know that Star Trek has the ability to discuss and to be able to touch on. Now, Nick, did you have a topic of discussion outside of this for us today?
No, because that license plate thing really caught my attention. You guys don't know it, but they've been kind of surprised because I've been posting a lot more stuff in our staff meeting about things we can talk about on the show.
Yeah, it's been great.
Um,
But yeah, I was with you. I actually have to say, I've never been a supporter of any form of censorship. As a matter of fact, I think the quote unquote, the seven deadly sins for network television is bullshit.
Oh, the
Um,
words shit,
huh?
piss, shit, piss, cock, fuck, motherfucker, and tits.
Right. Uh,
At one time, people, you could go to jail for saying those on stage.
yep.
To jail. Lenny Bruce's life was destroyed by saying the words fuck and cocksucker on stage.
Yep. And
Bill
and if
Hicks's career, Bill Hicks, was kept off of television for his words, and he wasn't even cursing.
God, he was a funny man. It's always been one of my pet peeves. It has always been one of my pet peeves. And I realize that there's this it comes down to American prudishness. It really does.
Yeah, but is it American? Because
Oh
we're the
yeah,
only
I
country that doesn't have hate speech laws. The only industrialized country that doesn't have hate speech laws. Now, I will say, having lived in Germany several times,
we do though.
no,
We
but
do though. We do
no,
have
but
hate speech laws.
no. What I'm saying
Not
is
federally, I think is what he's.
the First Amendment protects it. In Canada and in Europe and stuff, you can actually go to jail.
To a certain degree, and it's the same with others. Yeah, there's a level of degree when we have hate speech laws where hate, if it's used to incite, can be used you can be held for that.
Well, yeah, if you're calling for physical, but yeah, but what I'm
Yelling
saying is,
fire in a theater.
you 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 would not go to jail in here for having assimilate on a license plate.
But you may have that. Here's the thing though. It's very possible, depending on your state, that you're going to have that license plate pulled from you.
Oh
It
yeah,
depends on
because
how your state feels about it, right?
well, you've had the people that have had their plates pulled because if in the rearview mirror they say something filthy,
Creative and very, very funny.
and those people always make me laugh that managed to slip one through. I'm like, I would have never even thought of that.
But that's the thing. It's the state. Now, while it may not be a federal thing, our states do have those rules. So what happened in Canada is no different than what would have happened in North Carolina or California or Texas. There's obviously some group where the DMV comes around and says, "You know what? We're just not going to deal with it. We're going to remove the plate and there you have it." And then they're going to put it into the system that that's how that's how we ended up with J is for Janai. And if you guys don't understand what I mean by that, J is for
This
Janai.
goes
Remember
back to the
Janai?
beginning of our show.
Right.
The beginning of the series, not this
The
episode.
So in if you recall the species in Star Trek in the episode Outcast,
You know, I
I
can
think it was
never remember
Outcast
the
in
name of the
TNG.
episode. It was the one with the hermaphrodite species, right? Not
Yeah, they were
hermaphrodite.
androgynous
Not
is a better
androgynous,
word.
not
Yeah,
hermaphrodite. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean that way. I was
I know you didn't. It's the androgynous species where one of them felt a certain gender and Riker and the other person fell in love. And the species name was Janai. In Star Trek, now going back, in Star Trek, it's been a long time, but I wrote a lot of fan fiction, and one of those things was actually a book within a book. I was writing a fanfic that involved like Riker's kid, and Picard had given her like Federation standard ABCs. And so I wrote this ABC book for Federation Standard. And one of a great guy by the name of Oliver Smith, who was a Foundry author in Star Trek Online, asked me if it was okay if I used it or if he used it in one of his Foundry missions. And I said, sure, that'd be great. So he put it together to where your character in the game could go up to like this elementary school teacher hologram and read several different little children's books in the schoolroom. I thought that was adorable. The problem was is that he took the words for my book and put them into the Foundry, and unfortunately, it wouldn't take because the censor in Star Trek Online wouldn't let the letters, even though there were spaces. So the line was J is for Janai. It wouldn't let the 3 letters J and then JIS be put in the same context, even though there was a space between them, because it came off as jizz.
Never mind that it spelled
Spelled
differently in
wrong,
the.
and there was a space before J and is. So and it all came about because people, trolls namely, use different spellings to get away and around censors, right? And it just came to its ridiculous head in Star Trek Online. So we were trying to figure out a way of me getting
There was a group
around.
of us that tried for so long to figure it
So
out.
trying to find a way to get J is in. And we finally ended up giving up and I had to change that one line to J stands for Janai. That's ridiculousness of censorship. When you over censor, you end up having to
I don't understand why
rephrase
that's
how
a bad
you
word.
do things.
I don't understand why that would be a bad word anyway, because whoever decided that was a bad word wouldn't be here if it wasn't for jizz. So
Well,
I
I
don't
tell you,
understand.
you're right.
Just saying.
See, but even Robert Reyes, Jay. Well, that's not what it meant. J is the letter J. Why would I change it to JAY? The intent of the book, the intent of the children's story was J. The letter J is for Janai, the species Janai. J space is for Janai. It wasn't jizz is for Janai. It was just this ridiculous
For
censor
Riker, it
thing
was.
that Cryptic Studios had to put in because trolls made it so bad that they couldn't allow for cussing in Foundry missions.
Meanwhile, the
So,
chat room is just a vile cesspool.
oh, I know, I love it. So it was very frustrating and very, very funny. But I will always, always, always stand against censorship. I hate it. Here's the thing: if somebody's nasty and somebody uses foul language and somebody does something that I think is offensive, it gives me the opportunity to decide for myself whether or not I want to deal with that person. It gives me the opportunity to say, I now can judge you by how you act and what you say and how you speak, and let me judge your intent behind those words. If you are censored, I don't get the opportunity to judge you the way I think I should be. Am I judgmental? Fuck yes.
Well, see, there's a problem though. Is I guess context is what it comes down to. I mean, when you're talking to someone face to face, there's body language. There's all of the little things that people can pick up on when you're face to face with them. When you're reading something, that is eliminated. So you don't have that kind of context. So, for instance, someone could be totally just making a sarcastic remark, right? But that sarcastic remark without the proper context, without the body language, without the little things that reveal that it's sarcasm, can be taken sadly
Yeah,
incorrectly.
but
Well,
sadly, Mike, just making a sarcastic comment could get you banned from your workplace because someone fell
Oh,
for it
I
in a riot.
know.
Yeah,
One of
it's
my friends, this was shortly after 9/11. He went into work. He had just been, well, to his former place of work. He had been reassigned. He was working security for a company, and he had come in to pick up his final check from that location. And when they asked why he was there, he had made a sarcastic remark saying, "Oh, you know me, a disgruntled employee coming back to shoot up the place." He was
Well,
he was joking. He was an
I
asshole.
understand.
He's an asshole, but that's how he is. He makes those kinds of thoughtless, types of crude jokes all the time. And if you know him, you know that that's just what it is. But someone had heard, someone had taken it out of context, and he ended up, I think, he spent the night in jail. He ended up having to go to court. I mean, it was a big fucking ordeal, and he was just talking to a friend because that's who it was directed at, was a friend of his, and that the friend isn't the one that even called it in.
Right.
But because someone else had listened in and took it out of context, he ended up having all this shit happen to him. And I feel sorry for him. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you totally deserve that.
Yeah. Now, did you guys read our fan and friend Andrew Wonders sent us an article. Did you guys read that about Kirk?
I
It
let's put
was
it this way. That
long.
article, I was going to say it's a very long. I started to read it because David Matt posted it and he shared it with everybody saying that he believes that it's probably one of the best written articles, columns that he's seen in a long time and he wants to nominate it for a Hugo.
Oh wow, I didn't see that.
And that's when I started to read it. Then Andrew shared it with us. I got about 3/4 of the way through, and it's an exquisitely written piece.
Share it with people what it's about.
I don't have it.
Oh well, it was about Kirk and the idea that he's rash and also this womanizer.
Oh, and I love the fact that and it was, I think it's a female who wrote it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think, and she just clinically tears that argument apart.
And it's funny, it started out with someone talking about Star Trek and they said, "Oh yeah, Kirk with that green woman." And her response was, "Well, first of all, that wasn't Kirk. That was Captain Pike." And and it even broke down how I guess I have to say Prime Kirk it never was, but yet when JJ did '09, they made sure to put Kirk with a green woman as they de-evolved Kirk. Yeah, there's the link.
Thank you. The link is just for those who may not have access to our chat room because you're on Facebook Live right now. It is strange-horizons.com/non-fiction/columns/freshly-remembered-Kirk-drift.
Remembered is not spelled correctly. Steve,
It was in the link you just put in there.
it's missing an
it's
E.
missing an E at the end.
So
it is, yeah.
But Steve, share that link, please.
Look at Mike throwing out directions.
Yeah.
Telling you, I'm gonna make that trefoil a symbol of hate.
I'd already posted it on there as you put it in the chat room.
Look at Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Steve. Isn't he the best?
He is. So but she does. She takes the whole argument kind of apart. Now you were talking about not the green woman, but who else?
Well, that it was Pike that was with Vina, and again, that was something implanted in them by the Telosians. And then she breaks down Kirk's different romantic conquests, and Edith Keeler, that was love. But there was she described how in other times Kirk did it to save his crew, and except for one time, it was nothing more really than making out. Now, in Wink of an Eye, you see him putting his boots on, which, for like 1967, 68, that was pretty. They still had married couples, sleeping in twin beds at that point. So that was kind of risque. But it shows that, Kirk's what Kirk is about with that. And she also has an argument. It was a long article, an argument about Kirk loving his ship, whereas with Picard, it's the crew.
And I don't know. I have to say, I think I kind of took a little bit of umbrage with her on that one because he really never showed affection for the crew as much as he did for the ship, but not in an overt way like Kirk. Kirk was absolutely in love with his ship.
He would caress it in the evenings.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
but
Picard with-
I saw, it's funny. I always saw Picard doing that more for the Stargazer.
really,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he still had that it was his first love.
Yeah. I always see Picard's love as the Stargazer, not the Enterprise.
Yeah, for Picard, the Stargazer is the one that he would, stroke in the evening. But the Enterprise, it's like the Enterprise. It's
Trying
kind
to
of
fire
like
folks.
it's like
fire torpedoes. Fired.
Four nacelles, four nacelles, four nacelles.
the Enterprise is kind of like his second wife. He, he's over all of the excitement and whatever. This is the one that he's gonna be
first you
with
marry
for
for
a while.
love, and second you marry for money.
For money, yeah. This is his second wife, and he appreciates her in a very different, but it's nonetheless loving way.
And the Enterprise E, that's all about sex, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, and could you argue then that Sisko, his love was Bajor?
No, I think his first love, his love would always
Jake.
be,
Yeah.
I family for him is
Family,
first.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because it's not really so much with him. It never really was people or excuse me, never was places or things. With him, it was more about the people. His relationship with his father, how he never quite got over Jennifer, his relationship with Jake, and then how he acts with his crew. I mean, with him, it's more about the people.
I think Janeway's love is for bad decisions.
Putting Kim in danger.
She sits there scratching her records, if you will.
Yeah, no. Janeway, I think you're so bad. You're so bad. I love Janeway.
More bad decisions.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kirk made a few bad decisions. Sisko made a few bad decisions. Picard made a few bad decisions. They all did.
Everybody's going coffee.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Janeway's love is coffee.
Oh, Midnight says 7 of 9.
Oh, for a lot of fanfickers, it was.
Whiskey and bad
I
decisions.
think Janeway, her thing was this obsession with trying to get home. They had opportunities to make a life for themselves, to find safety, to do things that would have, that could have saved everybody almost immediately if they had decided to stay on any number of planets in the Delta Quadrant, created their own little colony. However, it was her obsession with wanting to return home that I think that was her big thing.
So would you say her love was Earth?
I think it was more the concept, the idea of home, not
Yeah.
a specific place, but the idea of home.
Yeah,
And
but
I think
wouldn't Voyager have been home?
eventually, over time, it did become home. It did embody that ideal, but initially it was Earth. Eventually, it evolved to really become the Voyager itself. And I think once, I mean, in the finale, when they finally make it home, and we get that that peek at what their future is like, they became a family there. And I think they, even the idea of Voyager being this home for them all, even with an extended family of Barclay and some of the others from Pathfinder, I think Voyager became this other home for them that they never quite let go of.
I'm sorry, Steve was trying to be funny in the chat room, and I wish I had a car crash sound effect
Sorry.
because I
Go
can
ahead,
just
Mike.
hear Robert Reyes saying
Yeah,
that.
we had to
Never owned a
acknowledge that
car
real
again.
quick. But you're right. I agree that with the Voyager becoming their de facto home, is that really what I mean? Was their return to Earth merely a
Well, when your home is a starship and starships go places, you always need a destination, and it was Earth was just a convenient destination after a while. I
Mike,
mean,
I love you, but you sounded Pacla there. Starships go places.
starships go places. But seriously, I mean, at first, Earth was the destination because that was home. But over time, when Voyager became home, then Earth just became the destination. It just became a goal to strive for, not really where they wanted to be, because where they wanted to be was on Voyager together with all of their family. That's what mattered to them after time. But what they wanted was this ideal of home, and I think, like I said, once they got there, I'm sad that we didn't get to see more of what happened to Voyager once they made it to Earth.
Oh
And
God, please do not lobby for more Voyager in any way, Mike.
no,
Oh,
I just
please.
think
Yeah,
they
well,
would
yeah,
have.
but that's where Kristen's books come
Yeah,
in.
that's where Kristen's books
Yes,
come in,
exactly.
and I think they would have been very. I don't want to say unsettled, but they would have been antsy. They would have wanted to again to go out together.
Well, everything that happened at home while they were away, you talk about I mean, I was gone for 2 years just to the other side of our own planet. And when I came home, it was some severe shock in, well, reintegrating, or if you will, assimilating back
Assimilating.
in, back in, just trying to, can you imagine? They had gone through a major war while they were away, where Beta Z had fallen and all these other things, and you come home and suddenly your little jaunt to the other side of the galaxy is like, oh yeah, you guys went through that? Really? Well, my whole ship was shot out from under me and my whole family was killed and blah blah blah. Oh, hi, how are you?
Yeah,
Y-
now I haven't read the first couple of books that Kirsten wrote or even the Voyager books because she didn't always write the Voyager books,
No,
right?
no,
she came
Christine
in
Golden
fairly.
started them.
Yeah.
Did she get into any of that?
Christine Golden did, yeah, and Kirsten does talk about them trying, you know, still trying to catch up on everything that happened in the time that they were gone. And Christopher Bennett also discusses it in his DTI novels.
But Voyager doesn't actually. It's not until oh man, my brain just farted, and it smells bad.
Oh, dude, is that refried beans?
uh, Kirsten Beyer, thank you. That was the name I was searching frantically for. In Kirsten's books, she has the opportunity to go back to the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah,
So with her books, she's actually able
with a
to
fleet.
with a fleet. So she's actually able to get the gang back together, get the family on the road. And that, the whole idea of home, I think it's a little bit different because they're now separated by several ships. But again, it's like, so the idea of home has become a little bit more watered down. A lot of them, Tuvok isn't there anymore. He's on the Titan. So the sense of family has changed. The dynamic has evolved. But that's a kind of normal. Kids go off to college, blah blah blah. So
Mom gets killed.
things do change. Well, for a while there, but she does come back.
Yeah.
She got better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, the books definitely take it in different direction, but I do love what Kirsten has done with the Voyager series.
But yeah, it is,
How about Archer's love,
Porthos.
Porthos? That is exactly what I was thinking. I mean, the two episodes come to mind. The one with the Cretaceans, where Porthos peed on the sacred tree, and the shit that he goes through for that dog. I mean, damn. And then the one where Porthos gets the lizard pituitary, and Phlox tells him at the end, you might have trouble finding him because he'll blend into the background even scared. I love that. But yeah, when he's a night in sick bay, I mean,
I think his was his father.
I'd agree with that. I would say,
his father's legacy.
Everything Archer did was somehow a way to try to make his dead father proud.
Yeah.
Everything.
And not like in a daddy way, but to uphold what his father
his
had
ideas, of his father.
Yeah, I think with him, it's more about the legacy, the traditions, the honor.
There you go.
The things that, like you were saying,
and then Admiral Forrest as well.
Bowchicka?
No, you're disgusting.
No, I'm not. I'm a fan fiction writer. Come on.
How dare you?
Oh,
that's
come
hideous.
on, dude. I'm sorry. A little Forrest Archer slash. Come on.
No, T'Pol Hoshi.
Sorry, Mike.
No, don't be. It's cool. No, it's fine.
Mike's now thinking of T'Pol Hoshi.
There's an episode of Enterprise with the Hoshi topless, so yeah. And then there was the whole trip in T'Pol. Massage scenes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She turned me into a newt. I gotta watch that movie again.
Okay, I lost track of what I was saying. I was distracted by T'Pol
and Robert's like, I read that fanfic. I bet you did.
Of course he did.
But really, what it comes down to is the article that started this whole conversation. Really does peg that Kirk himself is in love. His first love and his only love is the Enterprise, which made Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, so hard, right, for him, because he really does blow her out of the sky.
Well, that showed some growth, that he had moved beyond the ship and realized that his friendship with Spock was
so
a little more.
his love goes from the ship to the family.
Actually, it's not just Spock, it's McCoy. McCoy's the one that's losing, his marbles are all out of whack. And so it's because of those two people that he has forced himself to move beyond the ship. But yeah, the ship has always been his love. It's always been the thing that because the ship kept them all alive. If he kept the ship together, the ship kept the crew together.
And no one important says, and he had also just lost his son. It's a very good point.
Yeah, that could have been part of the catalyst for him realizing that people are a little more important than the thing.
And we have a Mark McCullough in the chat room. Hi, Marky. Miss you, honey. Yeah, it's a great article. Please, everybody, the link will be in our show notes. It's in the chat room. It's in all of our social media outlets, and give it a read because it's an extraordinary article. And again, something's pretty damn good when David Mack starts to tout it and says, "I think I'm going to nominate this for a Hugo." It's pretty damn good.
Right on.
Supreme Legate, there's a photo from Enterprise, and he says B&B, meaning Brennan, Braga, and Berman's idea of sexy. That's not.
So here's my question.
2 girls, a guy, and a dog.
I saw that movie.
I read that fanfic.
Was it a bit rough?
I think Steve has voicemail for us, right?
I do.
Is it Ross?
Yes.
Might be.
Sweet. Cool.
Are we ready for that, or do we need
Do I have time to go drive down to McDonald's and get a cup of coffee while this ad is playing?
Yes.
It's not that long this time.
Oh.
It's only a couple of minutes in total for the two of them.
Oh my God.
For the two of them. Yeah, go get your coffee, Nick. See you in a bit.
Jesus.
Hey guys, Ross here from Live, Love, Play with my weekly content update, doodly doo.
Oh boy.
Gods of Yukon, Episode 2, Bridge Over Brown Water, is available to everyone on YouTube. Gods of Yukon is a post-apocalyptic RPG set on a forgotten planet in the far, undefined future.
Don't you have a
The show
kid
features
now,
several
Ross?
familiar faces as players,
ready to have
including
a
the
kid.
G&T show's own Terry and Mike. Episode 3, Rope, Hope, and a Prayer, will be posted on my Patreon soon, so look out for future updates.
I love that episode.
Getting Lost in Space is also on my Patreon and will be released to the public tomorrow. If you
Yeah,
feel
it's a
nostalgic
Paul
for a
Longhair,
classic
it's
TV
awesome.
show and want to see it from a fresh perspective, come watch and listen. Episode 2 will be out soon. I live stream 3 times a week on twitch.tv/subsailor688, Monday and Thursday at 3 p.m. and Saturday at 5. So come join me and enjoy the game and the company. I play something different every day, so expect variety. In addition to my live stream broadcasts, you'll find my entire library of live stream highlights as well as archive broadcasts. The archives don't stick around forever, so check them out before they're gone.
Is that it?
This week on ILiveLovePlay.com, you'll find a new Getting Started about Arcane Studios' Prey, a first-person action thriller about survival in an alien infestation. I repost my content all over Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, Patreon, and Twitch. So look me up and enjoy. Thank you for listening. And a special thank you to the host of the GNT show
wasn't his
for your
little
patronage
tagline at the
and
end.
support. This is Ross saying thanks again. And until next time, remember to live, to love, and to play every day.
Thank
You know,
Ross.
do you remember the George C. Scott film? I can't think of the name of it. Where his daughter, he was trying to find his daughter, and she had gotten into pornography. Do you remember that?
I remember it existed. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, there's a scene in it where he's actually seeing, the cop is showing him the film of his daughter, and you hear the projector, and you hear George C. Scott going, "Turn it off, turn it off,
Oh yeah.
turn it off." I would love to get that and just play that underneath Ross's stuff.
You're so mean. You are mean.
I just think it would be hilarious, though. Because in my head, I was hearing it, and it really was perfect.
But the Gods of the Yukon, the 3rd episode, that was a lot of fun. That's the episode where Jim's character, Rex, while crossing the river, he's stepping, and next thing you know, sploosh, he's 20 feet underneath. Oh, it was hilarious. So yeah, looking forward to
I
that
had
one.
fun playing last week's game. It was
Hardcore. That's the
it
name
was
of the
fun.
movie.
Oh yeah. Well,
Hold on a
do we
minute.
have any other announcements, Mr. Mike and Mr. Steve?
Not that I know of. I've been so out of touch. Semantic Shenanigans. I think they had a episode recently.
Oh my
So
God.
definitely check them out. If it's not out yet, it should be out soon. The editing does take a little longer for them. So look for it soon, if not already. Sports Show, definitely check them out. Nick has a couple Gettysburg addresses coming out. I'm excited. Cannot wait to hear those. So keep an eye out. I'm sure he'll let us know when they've been posted. And definitely check out Live, Love, Play. So yeah, I think that's all I got for now.
And don't forget to like the Sunday G&T Facebook page at facebook.com/Sunday G&T.
That's right. And
Steve.
please share and share and share and like and share. Again, we're trying to get our Facebook numbers up. Every other social media problem, Facebook's notorious for this though, but we would like to get our numbers up on Facebook because it really does help us when it comes to our presence at conventions so we can cover them for you. So if you are unable to attend, we can get the news out to you directly.
Steve,
Oh, go ahead.
the YouTube clip that I just posted, can you play the audio of that over our air?
Give me a moment.
Terry, tell me this wouldn't be perfect being played underneath Ross's
Oh God.
ad. Ross, I love you, but come on, this would be hilarious. Steve's doing his magical British things.
He's
Boy,
crossing the streams and
He's boiling something right now.
boosting the power to the structural integrity field.
Getting a pint. What other British things can I think of? He's boiling something, getting a pint. Throwing
Getting
things
sunburned.
at the opposing sunburn.
I don't know.
Rioting on a soccer field.
That's not just Brits, though.
No, you're right. That's also the Scots.
Oh, you should hear Mike's dad.
Oh,
Terry,
really?
I think, has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does
When
he
his
scream
team,
at the TV?
when his team is winning, he yells at the TV all the time. But when his team is winning, it's a good day. When his team loses, hide, run away.
Okay, I think I've typed the share URL on the other
Alright.
machine next.
Okay.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off!
Oh my God.
Come on, admit it. That would be perfect under
You know what?
Ross's
You know what's
ads.
so funny about that clip now is that when you only hear
Turn
it.
it off!
Oh my God. It just sounds like John Belushi,
Oh,
doesn't
boy.
it?
Admit it. That would be hilarious.
It would be
under
hilarious.
Under Ross's ad.
Oh,
Steve, you're gonna have to find a way to do that next time.
Oh, too funny. Oh, we love you, Ross, so very much.
So sorry, dude. So
We're
sorry.
gonna giggle. We're gonna giggle about that all day. Any other announcements?
It's nice
Go
of
ahead.
Frost to have said at the end, thank you to the hosts of G&T for all their support.
Turn it off!
Turn it off.
Oh boy.
Oh God. Let's get out of here.
I was going to say, please, you guys, again, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for supporting this show. Join us next week for episode 278. Until
With special guest.
then, what was
With
it?
special guest, Minnie Pearl.
She still has that fucking tag on her hat, doesn't
Of
she?
course she does. By the way, Mike had recommended a series to me that I will recommend to you all as well. Sun City is fantastic. The dude that plays
Sun
Ike Turner.
Records.
Sun
Sun
City.
City.
Sun Records. The dude that
It's a
plays
totally
Ike
different
Turner
kind of movie.
is hilarious.
Very cool.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I have to. There's so much shit I have to watch.
Sam
Please
Phillips is
feel
a
free to
partner.
send us any comments, suggestions, questions, blah, 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 to hosts@gntshow.com. And we will be happy to forward them on to Dayton if it's a question for Dayton Ward. And again, congrats on the Scribe Award nomination, Mr. Dayton Ward. And we will catch up with you next week. Until then, live long and prosper.
Kapla.
Goodbye, everyone.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Chill on True. GNT 277.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Grethor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk factor 10. Put a mini skirt on my man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To fully go where no one's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero G community. Gonna travel to new worlds.
See, people that have left aren't getting us singing.
Beam on down and meet some green girls.
Okay, Steve, play
Gonna see what we can
to turn it off now.
A fancy free galaxy. To fully go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A
Good job,
zero G community.
Horrible now. We have a little something going on during the credits. That people didn't see.
Montage insert here.
Turn it off. Turn it off!
Come and take a tour with me. There'll be mountains of Kobayashi. Gonna travel to the end and make new friends.
Turn it off!
To fully go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero G community. To fully go where no man's gone before. Space happy. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero G
Son, that's awesome.
She's got great lyrics.
space happy.
Don't go off the air yet.
Okay.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
You're still here? Go home. Go.
Go home.
Go.
We couldn't afford an extra X-Men.
Bye.